Hello, I'm Richard Willett. I'm here with
Hi,
Eliza
Rick.
Beckwith and
It's Eliza Beckwith
Oscar, our
and
executive
Oscar.
producer. We are with NDT, New Directions Theater. We want to talk to you about our play, my play that I wrote, 910, and Eliza Beckwith is directing it, and we've been in development with it for quite some time.
Yes, quite some time.
Quite some time, because I wrote it shortly. It's written in response to 9/11, and initially I thought I would never write anything about 9/11 because I didn't think anything I could write could possibly add to the drama. Both of us we were both there
Right.
in New York City on September 11th.
I was watching it outside my window from my house, my apartment in Brooklyn,
Yeah,
and watched the towers fall in real time.
and you knew also that your sister had last been seen driving by.
Yes, and
Oh,
luckily she the wheel of one of the planes missed her car by inches, and she was able to make it out of there. But it was a probably one of the most terrible mornings of my life.
yeah. I mean, I think it shattered our whole experience. I mean, then the play came out of this. The whole experience of living in New York City had always been so magical. And so, I mean, I moved there at 19 and it was a dream come true to be there. And I loved the city, and something about that event threatened that. I think
Yeah.
the city survived, but so anyway, I thought I can't possibly equal that in drama, but then I got the idea. I started thinking, this idea kept, twittering at the back of my brain to
As
write
most
about.
great ideas do
That's
happen.
yeah, that's right. Thank you. I assume you're complimenting my brain at this point, but
Yeah.
to just what I talked about. What was almost lost on that day? What was going on right before 9/11? Like, how about a play about 9/10, and specifically in the World Trade Center, stories of what was going on in the Trade Center the night before. And that's where the play came from. And I was writing it. I had started kicking around ideas. I had 3 stories in mind, and then Eliza was teaching at Alfred University, where she is now, actually.
Yes, I am.
And invited me up to we were developing another play of mine there. And I was doing a playwriting workshop, and I wanted to have a new script to work with students to show what I was doing working on a new script. But I only had 3 stories, and I thought I wanted 4. And then we ended up, we were sharing our house with a Muslim woman.
Yes,
Yes.
a devout Muslim woman,
Yeah.
25 years old, teaching on a Fulbright scholarship from Morocco.
Yes. And I wasn't even supposed to be in the house because I was a man, and she wasn't supposed to live with a man. And then the concept of me being a gay man, I mean, that didn't help because that was beyond.
But what was so interesting is that we were so worried about it, and yet
We
the
became
truth
friends.
of human beings is, when it comes down to it, it's just there are surprises, and the surprise was the friendship that you developed with her.
Yes. And that became the 4th story, and that became Scott and Sahar in 9/10. So then when we got back in the city, we did some readings. Salam Theater in New York City did a reading, and I'm going to share my screen and show. This is a picture of us with this was a while ago. This was like 2003. Here we are with the cast at Salam Theater. That was the first reading of 9/10. And then we had readings at Ensemble Studio Theater also.
Was that the very first one, Rick?
I think it was, because I think, yeah.
Wow.
I think it was. And we were very busy producing the Flid show with Larry Law when we did the reading DST, and we kind of wanted to get it out of the way because we were focused on the Flid show, and the response was amazing to 9/10. I mean, people were like, this is the best 9/11 piece that's ever been written. And we were like, yeah, but come see this other show we're doing downtown.
But I think at the time, the uniqueness of the play and the uniqueness of the perspective of the story was what hit people. Because in those first few years after 9/11, after 2001, the stories that were coming out were of the event, were of the actual event, were the day, were the immediate aftermath of the day. And so those were the stories that we were hearing at the time. And with 9/10, the perspective of before and right before was such an interesting take on it, because when you hear the play or see the play and you're getting to know these people, we all know what is going to happen the next day. So the audience has that in them. There's no surprise. The play is called 9/10. So the audience comes in knowing not necessarily where they are, but certainly when they are. And that perspective is what makes it such a unique piece
Yeah.
of work about
And-
that event
And
and that
I've heard
tragedy.
different audience experiences. I remember people have told us that they come in knowing that, but then they forget. And then all of a sudden there are points in the play where it really hits you. Oh my God, I just remembered where they are and what's going to happen.
Well, they get involved in the stories.
Yeah.
And the play is about people and relationships and friendship and getting to know each other, and people from different cultures and people from different backgrounds, and people in love. And I think everybody can somehow relate to every one of the stories, and fall in love with these people and fall in love with these characters.
And with the city and the country that they lived in, which was long ago, it was more than 20 years ago, and a lot has changed in America and in New York in terms of
Well, that slight naivete that we had pre 9/11 about our safety,
yes,
and the United States and New York specifically being untouchable. And yet what I experienced that day was the fear and the panic and the horror of being in a war zone, which I'd never felt before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, no air traffic over Manhattan, no traffic in the streets, but military planes going over. It was horrifying. I mean, it was like, it was unbelievable.
And yet this play takes us back to the before times.
Yeah.
The immediate before times.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember where I was on the night of 9/10.
I don't remember where I was on the night, but I know that I went to see, during the day, I went to see Funny Girl with Barbara Streisand at the Ziegfeld Theater, a revival. For some reason, that was my swan song before. But anyway, let's move on, because what happened then was that I moved to Los Angeles, of all things. And
Crazy.
I know. Look how bright and sunny it is here, though. I did an screen adaptation of 9/10, and it was in the top 50 of the Academy Nickel Fellowships competition out of 7,000 scripts, and then I optioned it. It didn't ultimately get made, but I did option the script. And along the way, we had another development opportunity with the play, which was in Maryland, St. George's Community College. I'm going to share my screen again, and here we are with that cast. And again, Eliza was teaching there, and she invited me to come out. And this is more than a reading. This was a fully staged workshop production. And that was such a great experience to see the play on its feet.
Oh, it's fabulous.
With
Dave
Stock did that wonderful set, and it had we hadn't been sure if it could be realized the way that we had envisioned it, which was that the presence of the Trade Center becomes more and more obvious as the play, physically obvious on stage as the play progresses. And in fact, it worked beautifully there.
And they were such a wonderful group of young actors.
Oh yeah.
Such a great group, and embraced the story and embraced the play. And as a director, it was so wonderful and worthwhile for me to put the play on its feet. but that's
the
the
thing.
frustration, is that that was it. That was the last time we did it. And that
Yes,
was the
and
last time we saw it on its feet.
not for lack of trying. I mean, I I shopped it around, and every, like on the 10th anniversary was when interest in it picked up. And there were a lot of theaters that wrote me saying, we're seriously considering this. We love the script. But any playwright out there can tell you that, that and subway fare can get you to Radio City or something like that.
Right.
But, nobody came forward to actually produce it. And then we were going to do it for the 20th anniversary last year. We had big plans because we thought, well, this is the anniversary when we will do it.
This
at
is the
NDT
chance.
New York, and suddenly we were all wearing masks and getting vaccinated. Well, we weren't even getting vaccinated then. We couldn't. We were just at home. So theater was out of commission. So we're back now, though.
Yay.
Yay, theater is back.
Yes.
And we are producing it. And I'll show you so people know who we are. We are New Directions Theater, NDT. And I'm going to go to our website here. I'm actually not, this is an earlier show that we did, the Flid show. And these are some of the critical comments. You can visit us at newdirectionstheater.org, but here's our opening page, which is all about 9/10, which is coming up. It says September 2022, but it should say July. That needs to be updated because we had to move it back. And here is the last show that we did was Tiny Bubbles. And here are some of the press. My favorite comment here was, these are tough. This is from the New York Times. These are tough times for drinkers, and Richard Willett's Tiny Bubbles cares. Neither Eliza nor I drinks at this point in time, which is kind of interesting, but this was a play all about drinking.
How things change.
Yeah, it was very successful for us. So
yes, it was.
And then this is some of our past. There's Triptych, F-Stop by Olga Humphrey, and Random Harvest, and Hot Air. And there's Matt Fraser, who starred in the Flid show. That's him with his mom. And Matt is an actual thalidomide survivor, and the Flid show was about the drug thalidomide from the 1960s. So we have a lot of experience doing this. So we're now asking you to support us on Indiegogo, but you need to know that you're supporting two people that it's not easy producing off Broadway.
Oh, no.
But we know that. And we've survived the wars before.
We've done it, and we love doing it, and we love making theater, and we love bringing all of these stories. What I love, especially with Rick's plays, are bringing all of these stories that touch the heart, give you a laugh occasionally, but are really important stories about humanity and people. And that's why I love directing the work, because it is important work. Well, and it's work that makes you see the world and human beings in all of their glory.
Well, and we have worked together so often also that we work really, I mean, what I really appreciate about working with you is that it's so familiar. We speak the same language now. We can talk in code to each other. And I'm working in LA now with a wonderful new director in a production that's going to happen in January, but I haven't worked with another director in so long, and it makes me realize how spoiled I was.
You're spoiled, Rick.
My new director, but it's like when you've worked with someone 10 times, it makes a difference. And so we bring that to the table too.
Yes.
And that's fun, especially now that we don't live in the same city. It's just fun for us to work together and
we also bring the experience as producers. We are not just writer director. We produce this work. We've had some help along the way, but at the bottom line, we are the producers.
Yes,
we're
indeed.
The ones that get it done.
And sometimes my glamorous job of playwright involves like making sure we have wine and whatever available for the intermission and selling the tickets. more than once I've been at the door actually selling the tickets, and people
We
will say,
do it all.
"Is the playwright here?" Well, yes, it's me. So, yeah, but
Yes,
that's
when-
fine. That's actually,
Yeah, and both Rick and I have worked in on productions where we haven't had to worry about that because we're getting produced somewhere else and someone else is worrying about all that. But we do love having our little company, and we do love doing the work where we are the ones making it happen.
well,
And
and
we're
as
looking-
as a playwright, I mean, we have our arguments, the Lord knows, but but it's great to know that, and the theater in general, especially compared to movies, is better for this. But that if you're producing it yourself, then your vision, you are responsible for what's up there on the stage. And so as a playwright, it's a more pure path to getting your artistic vision, for better or for worse, realized, because you're the producer. So,
Yep.
you know, and you respect my input. So, and we're very used to working together. So it ends up being this is, like I said, for better or for worse, this is the play. This is pretty much what I had in mind.
Yeah.
When we do it ourselves.
Yep. So we're looking forward to it,
Yes, and we're looking forward to seeing you there.
but we need money to do it.
But we need money. It's not Broadway expensive, but it's not cheap. And, we depend completely, and we are a not-for-profit organization. It's a tax deductible donation, and we have depended on it for every production we've done. We've done fundraising, and we've been very fortunate that many of you have supported us, and we hope to get some new people in this time as well.
Yep.
And then you're on board too. So,
Yeah. Join us.
yes.
It's
Okay.
an important work. And I think it's something that it needs a life. It needs to be seen. And in some ways, I think Rick and I, there's a little bit of a sense of responsibility because 9/11 impacted us personally in a number of ways, and this story is something that helps people not forget.
Absolutely. Well said. All right, then Eliza has the recording controls. So we will
As a
say
director, I have the controls of everything. But really,
goodbye.
thank you for joining us. If you've watched this whole thing, kudos to you. And we hope you will join us on this journey because it's going to be fun.
Indeed.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Rick.
Bye.